Should New Hampshire increase its renewable power mandates? Coming up in the Cloakroom. Hi, I'm Grant Bosse, and welcome back into the Cloakroom, the video magazine from the Josiah Bartlett Center for Public Policy. 5 years ago, the New Hampshire legislature passed Renewable Portfolio Standards, requiring that all New Hampshire electric utilities get at least 24% of their power from renewable sources by 2025. But not all renewables qualify. Small-scale hydroelectric power plants count if they have fish ladders and otherwise comply with federal Clean Water Act standards, but large-scale hydro, like Hydro-Quebec, wouldn't. Companies that capture steam to defray heating costs don't qualify for thermal energy credits, and 5 of New Hampshire's wood-to-energy plants are eligible for RPS, but the 6th plant doesn't meet strict air quality standards. Senator Jeb Bradley has introduced a bill to expand the state's RPS program, mandating that 29.4% of New Hampshire's power come from renewable sources by 2025, and expanding eligibility for thermal energy and wood-fired power plants. SB 218 has already received Senate support and was the subject of a public hearing in the House Science, Technology, and Energy Committee. Bradley testified that the bill would help save 450 jobs supported by wood-to-energy plants in New Hampshire's economically hard-hit North Country.
And we should be in favor, I believe, maybe not everybody would agree with this, of an all-of-the-above type of energy strategy. It's my view that we need to drill for more oil in this country, and we need to develop the Keystone Pipeline. We need to make sure that we continue to allow fracking for natural gas so that we can heat our homes, so that we can power our power plants, many of which are in New England. I happen to think that we should be encouraging nuclear energy. We need to do it right, but we need to do it. We shouldn't be banning new coal plants if they can meet environmental regulations, and we shouldn't be putting arbitrary regulations on them. And at the same time that we pursue the more traditional resources, those that I just talked about, we also need to develop renewable resources. That's what creates energy diversity. That's what helps us, in my mind, make sure that we're not overly reliant on natural gas, which, if there's new regulations that the EPA is talking about regarding fracking, you can see the price of natural gas explode. If there's technological innovation that allows natural gas to be liquefied more readily at a cost basis that would allow it to be shipped to other countries, it becomes a worldwide commodity, and we're not going to enjoy the same low prices that we have today. So what this bill seeks to do is not only create a level playing field, but move the ball forward in terms of technological innovation and take advantage of a resource that we have a lot of: water, wood, and wind.
Public Service Company of New Hampshire calculates that the current RPS program costs 0.3 cents per kilowatt hour, 6 times that of the controversial RGGI program that caps carbon dioxide emissions from New Hampshire's fossil fuel power plants. The Public Utilities Commission estimates that the average New Hampshire home pays a little under $1 more a month because of the current RPS mandates, though that would increase as the mandated percentage goes up over the next decade. Bradley admits the higher renewable standards will mean higher electric rates, but he doesn't think it'll be much for most ratepayers.
I think it'll be a very nominal impact on rates. Right now, it's on the average bill, the cost of the Renewable Portfolio Law is about 85 cents on a 600 kilowatt hour bill. So it'll go up a little bit, but I think very slightly. And the benefit of it is a lot of jobs, a lot of taxpayers are created, so we have the benefit of revenue for property taxes from facilities as well as the business taxes. So I think that, yes, there's a cost, but the benefit, at least in my view, in the view of this pretty hardcore conservative, the benefit outweighs the cost.
The bill brings together a coalition of environmental groups that oppose fossil energy consumption and landowners looking for a market for the waste wood they can't sell to lumber mills. Representative Jim Garrity chairs the House Science Committee. He was a co-sponsor of the original RPS legislation in 2007, but he argues expanding the program amounts to a bailout of wood-to-energy plants that can't compete with lower-cost generators.
Why can't we just let the free market force them to become more efficient? Force them to force you guys to give your chips to them for cheaper. innovate instead of trying to legislate a guaranteed price or margin. I mean, it seems to be counter to everything that's free market, that's anti-protectionism. We seem to be protectionist, parochial, cost-fixing, anti-consumer. You know, how can we do this?
Conservative activist Tom Thompson and his family run Mount Cube Tree Farm in Orford. He says well-managed forest lands protect water quality and keep private land open to hunters and hikers.
I'm coming from it from a landowner's point of view. I want to keep my land open. I have been a verbal advocate of open space in this state and sharing it with everybody, whether it be snowmobiling, hunting, fishing, all down the line, which has a huge dollar impact on the state's economy. It's the engine that drives our North Country with snowmobiling, hunting, fishing, and recreation. And the folks from the southern tier love to come up and use our land. I don't get paid for that. So I'd like to have a market so I could sell.
Bradley's bill would require more power come from small-scale hydro and from biomass plants, but would not increase the state's solar power mandate, now scheduled to hit just 0.3% of all New Hampshire electricity by 2025. Should New Hampshire expand its renewable power standards? Take the New Hampshire Watchdog poll at newhampshirewatchdog.org. I'm Grant Bosse. Thanks for joining us in the Cloakroom.